everybody, Patty Ann here, welcome. I've got something really cool to show you today, especially if you're someone who uses a lot of stamps and you have a big collection of them. I'm going to show you how easy it is to use these with your die cutting machine, whether you're using a Cricut or a Silhouette or even a scan and cut. So let's get busy. Look down here at my desktop and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. These kind of clear stamps. I think it was Gina K or somebody using this set, and I thought it was so adorable. I had to have it, right? Now we know if we have Silhouette that we could probably go ahead and trace these things, but to me that's just really not fair. I think that for the person that created these, it's really more fair and honest to actually buy the stamp. However, I don't feel that I have to buy the little thinlet that they call it, or the little die cut to be able to cut each one of these out. So this set here was about $24, I guess. And then if I had bought the little thinlets to go with it, it would have been another $35. Hey, I don't need to use that for my die cutting machine. I can do this just like that. Now listen. If you have a Cricut machine and you're not using Silhouette Business Edition for your Cricut machine, please stay tuned because you might decide you want to use it. It's only about $50. It's a one-time fee, and you'll be able to do these kind of things for your Cricut machine easily, making the offsets and just getting these ready to go. So again, you can use with Cricut, you can use this with Scan and Cut, and you can use this with your Cameo. Again, I bought these, so I'm going to show you now how I use these, but here's some samples of what I've done. So I cut this little gal out, and isn't that cute? And I love this little saying. You can even cut out the sayings that go with them, the sentiments, right? And put an offset around them. Our friendship is magical. Isn't that cute? I think it's so adorable. And what I plan on doing is, I don't have the markers, the Copic markers, but what I use is Prismacolor watercolor pens, and I use a blender tool with it, and it looks like this. Oopsie. So it actually makes it blend really nicely, almost as if it's a marker. So let me go up to Silhouette now and show you. And again, I'll have a link for the business edition down below. You'll need the business edition if you're using Cricut, and I highly recommend that you go over to my website, pattyannsplace.blog, and take the 5 free classes there that go with this software that you'll get. A one-time fee, like I said. Now listen, one last thing. Okay, I bought this. They were 24 bucks, right? If I was to buy the little thing that'll make the offset and cut around it, it was going to be another 35. Hey, for 15 bucks more, I can get the software and I can use it for my Cricut or my Cameo machine and do all of this like that. Never have to buy those little cutters again. So join me again. Let's go to Silhouette and get busy. Okay, before we go to Silhouette, I did want to show you how I get this ready to be used in Silhouette. So let's imagine I'm going to do this stamp right here. So I will actually just take this stamp off, and I don't really have ink pads, so I'm going to do this without an ink pad. If I had an ink pad, of course, I could just stamp this right onto here and then take a photo of it to make it bigger to be able to use it on my computer. But since I don't, what I'm going to do is just take that one off and a couple of these other ones that are near it, so I can make sure, don't want to lose anybody, that this piece is going to go down nicely on my white paper that's under it, because I don't want any shadows being formed. So once this is down here pretty nicely on my white paper, and what I have been known to do is to actually take a piece of tape and tape it down, and I have some right here, just to make sure that it's going to stay down flat here. Because I don't want, like I said, any shadows to be formed, so that's really pretty flat, looks good. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring over my camera, and you'll hopefully be able to see some of this. Oops, I taped it down to the table. But what I'm going to do is just take my camera here with my phone and just go ahead, and I wouldn't do it right here where I am, because I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm getting quite a glare because of the overhead light I have. So I would want to do this in an area where I wouldn't have all of this glare on my sheet here. But I would just take a photo of it, say it's like Let me show it to you. Okay, there's the photo that I have, and I was going to do this one down here, right? So the next thing I would do on my iPhone is just go to Edit, and then I would, doing this upside down feels a little weird, come here, and I'd probably just zoom in so I can just mostly get what I want right there. So I'm cropping out the other stuff. I will crop out more very easily when I'm in Silhouette. Whoops. Hey, you. Trying to move that. There we go. So that looks pretty good like that, right? So then I would just say done. Next thing I would do is I would just send this to my mail. Send it. Just going to name it Dino. And when I send it, I probably send it as the highest resolution that I can. And now I'll come up to my mail and find it, and I'll bring it into Silhouette. Okay, here we are in Silhouette, and this just shows you how my page looked when I went ahead and printed out the ones that you've already seen. And I just left this so you could see. Let's get rid of this. That's from my little thumbnail. But the first thing, of course, that I brought in, let's say I was doing this text right here. So the first thing that I brought in was this image here, because this is what it looked like on my phone. And then what I did was I went ahead and traced it, and it looked like this. And then I had to flip it or mirror it like this. And then I added the offset like this. So here's another one, the same thing. This is what I brought in first with my camera. Then I went ahead and traced it. And then I mirrored it. And then I added the offset. So here's the same thing with these guys over here. Let me move him over. Here's how it came in, and this is how it ended up here after I traced it and I resized it and I added an offset. Same with this guy right here. Brought him in, traced it, added an offset, and I actually flipped this one because I wanted it facing the other way. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get busy now. We'll go to this one, and I'm going to go to File, Merge. I'm going to merge it right into this page. I'm going to look for that one I just took the picture of. It was this one right here, remember? Say open it. It's going to come in really, really big. So what I'm going to want to do first is just to click on it to highlight it. And then I'm going to change its size. So I'm going to make it 5 inches tall. I usually just take the largest dimension and change it to a 5 just to start out with. Oopsie. Do you know what's wrong? I thought I had locked the lock, but apparently I didn't. So what I need to do now is I need to undo that, click on it again, lock this lock so it resizes proportionately. And now I'm going to change the height to 5 and hit enter. And that's perfect. It changes it perfectly. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I just noticed something. I accidentally cut off a little bit of his wing when I took the image or when I was cropping it. Well, we'll just leave it like that. Pretend that's not like that. When I cropped it on my phone, I must have cropped it a little too close. But we can still continue on and you'll get the gist of this just like this. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the very left-hand side and get the knife tool. Click on that. I'm going to come up here to the top. I'm going to have my knife tool at outline. I'm going to have it at poly, and there are a bunch of things that I could change it to, but I want it as poly. And I'm going to uncheck auto apply in case I need to move something. So now I'm just going to start with my knife tool, and every time I click, it puts down a little node. Unfortunately, there's my little wing that I clipped off. Had his wings clipped. Kind of like a pet bird gets their wings clipped sometimes. So I'm just going around, just selecting the part of him that I want. When I get back to the beginning, I'll double click. And now since auto apply is unchecked, I'm going to have to click apply. And that means I can drag out the piece I want, click on this stuff, and delete it. And delete. Bring this back over here now. So now what's the next step? I'm going to trace it. So I'm going to come over to the little thing that looks like a piece of toast. to me. Some people think it looks like a butterfly, but if you'll notice it says the trace panel. I'm going to click on that to open it. Then I'm going to click right here where it says select trace area. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select all the way around him and the little girl like that. Now, see this little bit of extra junk right here by his tail? That's probably because I had some shadowing because I took that photo here at my desk instead of in the other area where I usually like to take my photos where there's no shadow from the overhead lights. Let's see, I don't know if I can get rid of that. Yeah, it looks like I can if I just change the threshold down. Did you see that? I can get rid of that, so it'll probably be okay. I'm not crazy about it, but that looks not too bad. So I'm going to say trace. So now I can click on this part. I don't need this anymore. I can just go ahead and delete it. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and click on him. Come up here and change this to black. I'll also change the line color to black. And I usually like to change the point size of my line right here to a 1. Like that. So now this little thing is ready to go. So I could resize it if I want to, make it smaller if I want to make a bunch of stickers. I could hold down my Alt key and notice my cursor changes from an arrow to a plus sign, which means I can duplicate it. So I can make a bunch of these. I can make some of them large and some of them small. The other thing I can do is I can take this one if I want to, and I can right click and say flip horizontally. And that makes it change the other way in case I want him looking this way. As far as the text, I'm not sure. Let's see if I can grab one of those from over here. I'm going to right click on this one and say copy. Well, first I'll ungroup it. Ungroup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one that came in like this. I'm going to click on it and copy it. And then I'm going to go back over to the tab I was in. And I'm going to paste it. So I want to show you how to do the text as well. So all you have to do is this. Again, this is exactly what I photographed. So the first thing I need to do is come over here to the trace tool, select the trace area, and just go like this. And there it is. It comes in beautifully as a trace. So I can just click on the word trace over here in the panel. And once that's done, I can get rid of that part because this is what I want. I'll change its color to black. I can change it to any color I want to since I'm going to be doing a print then cut. And I change the line color to black. Now notice it's mirrored. It's crazy. I can't put this like this on my image. Even if I make it smaller, doesn't matter. It's not going to work. If I right click and hit flip horizontally, that fixes it just like that. So let's look again and see what I did. It looked like this. All I need to do is right click on it and say flip horizontally, and then it's perfect. Now, I forgot to show you. We don't want them just like this. We want offsets on them. So I'm going to make an offset on the text first. So I have that selected. I'm going to come way over here to the right hand side to the star that has an offset on it. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say offset. And look at that. Just like that, it puts an offset. Let me make it a color so you can see it more easily. I'll make it pink or red, but I'm really going to just leave it to white. Okay, just like that. And then I can grab both of these and just group them. And then I can make more of them if I want to. Hold down my Alt key and drag another one. Maybe make a bigger one or a smaller one, whatever I want. Okay. Now let me show you how to make an offset on these. So here he is. I'm going to come over here and click on the word offset again. And I want you to notice something. That makes offsets all over the place in him internally, which is not quite what we want. But we can just drag him right off of here. I can highlight this, come up here and say Object, Release Compound Path, and then all I'm going to do is go right click and say Weld. So now it's just one piece by itself. Now notice that the line is still 1 over here. I really don't want the line to show up on the offset, so I made it back to 0. Then I can bring this back in here. If I would like to, I can grab both of these and come up here to align so it's perfect. And then just click and say group. So that's perfect like that, and I'll show you another one. Did I make that offset? The offset should be white. Let's see, did I change that? No, offset, I want the offset to be white. Whoops, let's go back. Let's go back and ungroup this for a minute. I wanted this offset to be white. Notice right now when I click on the offset, if I come up here, it shows what color it is. It's the checkerboard, which means it's transparent. I don't want it to be transparent. I want it to be white like that. So now I can group all this together and bring it over, and now you can see how that works. Okay, so let's try that again just so you make sure that you know how to do this. We have the image here and I have it selected. I'm going to come over here to the star, which is the offset panel. Click on that. I'm going to say offset. I could do an internal offset, but we'll do that in other classes. Make sure you follow me in my classes, especially on Patreon. We learn so much. But we're going to do the offset. And I could change the size of it if I want to. I usually leave it at the default, but I can make it much smaller if I don't want such a big offset. So now, notice these offsets. It did do this in here too. I don't really want that. So I can just drag the offset away from him. And now I can't just weld this. You need to come up here and you need to go to Object, Release Compound Path. And do you notice there's a little box around all of these pieces now? And then I can go right click on it and say Weld, and it's gone. Now again, since we used the this image to begin with, let's check this out. This has got a line width of 1. I don't really want the outer line to print. So if I make this line point right here 0, you'll still see the line a little bit, but it will not print. That will be the cut line. So I can bring, let's change its color. We want the offset to be white. So let's grab both of these things now, and I can just come up here and center them like that, and then group. Let's see what else we got here. Scroll out. So I can move these two off of here right now just so we can see how these are going to go if we use these in Silhouette. So the first thing I have to do if I was going to print and cut these, I would have to turn on the registration marks. To do that, I come up here to the page setup panel, right up here, and I'll move it over so you can see. Right now I have it set on letter for my media size because that's how big my cardstock is. It's 8.5 by 11. If I had a big piece of cardstock, I could change it to 12 by 12 or anything that I might have. Okay, I could put a custom amount in here because I do have some very, very, very big cardstock and it would print on my printer. So I could change it to 12 or 11 by 24 or something like that. But anyway, I'm using the letter right now. The other thing you must do, that's not the registration marks. Oh, and by the way, I like to have both of these checked when I'm doing this. The show print border and the show cut border. The most important part though for print and cut is that you come over to the third button over, and that's the registration marks. Click on that. Notice the registration marks are off. I want them on. Perfect. This is going to tell my Cameo machine where to register, where to line up so it prints these things perfectly. Okay, so I can move these just like this. And, okay, can't do this. I can't put this guy here because look, it's going outside of that red line. And the way I have that red line on there, you'll recall from this button, the page setup button, I checked these things and that puts that red line so I can more clearly tell what's going on. So I'm not going to put that there unless I move this over a bit, and then maybe it'll fit. Yeah, it'll fit then. Okay, that's perfect. So let's just assume that I want to do a few more of these. I could grab all of them, hold down my Alt key, and just drag another set down here, and let's see if they'll fit. Yeah, they fit. The thing is, what I have to remember is not to let anything go outside of the red line or to go into the checkerboard area. If it goes in the checkerboard area, it's a problem. Okay, so I'm imagining I'm with you right now. But you know what? I think I want to go get a few of these other ones. What was the other saying? Oh yeah, this one right here. I'm going to ungroup this one. And I'll just grab this one that already has the offset on it. And I'm going to right click and say copy. And then I'll go back to the same place I was. Right click and paste. Because I'm going to have some of these in here too. I don't want to just put the same thing. And you know what I could do too is I could make one that says happy birthday if I want to. I could just make a whole page full of sentiments. And I have done that before. Really saves you a lot of time. I save them in a little container. And then they're always ready for me whenever I'm needing to make a card. And those of us in my Silhouette group that are in the Patreon group, we make cards for kids. It's a group. And we're making them every month. We're sending cards to kids who are hospitalized or have been in bad situations. So these would be really cute to make. Our friendship is magical. And I could probably duplicate that one also and make it a little smaller if I want to. And even just rotate it. Hold down my shift key and rotate. Put it over here. Bet I could even make another one. Alt. Here. Sure can. Alt. I don't think I can fit that one there. Let's see if I like to move things around a bit. Actually, I can. That fits perfectly. Okay, so that's pretty much good enough right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to File, Print, and I'm going to go to Preferences on my machine. I could change it to black and grayscale, and I have it on standard. I'll change it to high. And the other thing I like to do is I like to look at the preview. So I'll say OK and print, and it's going to give me a preview of what I'm going to get. Okay, I think you may have seen that. Okay, so here's the preview of what we're going to get printed, and it looks beautiful. So I'll just click on print, and that will be sent to my printer that's behind me. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of these things right here, select them all. I'm going to go to File, Save Selection. Now, I only want the selected stuff. I don't want the other junk that's over here on the side. I only want the things on the mat. So Save Selection. I'm going to save it to my hard drive, and I'm going to save it as dinosaurs, or what was it called? What was it called? I had a name. Magical Friends. Magical Friends. And I'm going to save it as an SVG file, and I'll show you how this works over in Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to open up Cricut Design Space. New project, make it larger. I'm going to upload an image and browse. Oh gosh, I hope I saved it in my downloads. Magical Friends, I hope. Wait, there it is, Magical Friends. Say open. There it is, coming in perfectly. So I can go to save. Then here it is, and I'll just insert it. It's going to come in like this, too small, but I can make it whatever size I'd like it to be. And now one of the things that I probably would want to do is to ungroup it and then grab each one of these maybe and just say flatten. Okay, or I could just probably flatten everything at one time. Let's try flatten. Okay, and then let's go and see what's going to happen when we make it. But before that, you remember how I always teach you that you can come over here to where it says blank canvas down at the bottom? Click on that. You can come up here then to the top and change the color. So now you can see exactly what's going to cut out. So it's going to cut out perfectly. It's just going to cut out around, it's going to print after you send it to your printer, and then it's going to cut around each one of these animals or each one of these things of text or sentiments, just like that. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go over and get the one that I just printed out so I can show you, and that should pretty much complete this lesson. Okay, I really didn't plan this very well, but here's my card, and what I've decided to do is put this green on here first, this bright green, and then the next thing I was going to put on was this sparkly, the sparkly purple, and what I didn't plan on was my this, because I usually like to make a second offset with a color on it, usually black, but I didn't do that, but it'll be okay. So I'll just take my handy dandy gun. If you don't have one of these guns and you like to make a lot of cards, you really should invest in one because they're great. And I do have a link down below for it. Sound like a salesman here, but truly. And honestly, though, if you do use my links ever, it does help me to keep my channel running. So I appreciate that a lot. So there's that. So if you like my videos, I appreciate it. So I've already put some of these little sticky things that I get from the dollar store on here. I think I might like to put one more on. And what I did was I put some stickles on him, and they probably don't show up very well on the camera, but to be honest with you, I'm not crazy about the way they look, period. So I don't know if I really kind of wish maybe I hadn't put them on him at all. Too late now, they're there. So I'm going to put him like this. And then I was coloring on this, but I decided I didn't really like it. I was trying to make it look a little prettier, and actually maybe I do, because I was going to use this one instead, the black and white. But maybe this is a little bit more festive, so I guess I'll use it. So I'll take these off first. Got to be careful, because I'm terrible when it comes to stickles. I never wait for them to dry. I always end up smearing them. And I'll probably do it again. One last piece, please. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, I had my finger stuck in it. I'll just put this guy here maybe, and I'll put this pop dotted up on that. Okay, yeah, that'll look cute. So he's pop dotted up, getting stickles on my hands, of course. And then I'll pop dot this one. And actually, maybe I like to double pop dot this one up. I've never done that before, but I think that's just the dimension that this little guy needs to make it look special. So I'm going to do this one. Take these off. I'm going to put another set right on top and make it really pop dotted up. Perfect, I hope. I didn't put any stickles on the front of this, so I think I'm safe. All right, imagining I'm with you right now. Could go like that. Okay, I think that turned out super cute. But anyway, my main goal, like I said, I hadn't planned on this. My main goal was to show you how easy it is to put the offsets around these stamps that you don't even have to stamp. And you can use it in Cricut Design Space, you can use it in Cameo, or you can use it for your scan and cut to make beautiful cards just like this. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. See you guys again soon. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.